Welcome to Zero Fortitude's top 25 games of all time. We are going to continue our list. I am Michael.
I'm Bernie.
I'm Pete.
In today's episode, we are going to be going through our numbers 20 through our 16. So let's go ahead and start with number 20 and start with you, Bernie.
Okay, so for number 20, I'm going to go with Shadowrun Crossfire. It is a deck building game, even though Shadowrun is a role-playing game. Shadowrun Crossfire is a deck building game. It is a hard deck building game. I've played it like 5 times. I've won once. It's a hard game. I did put it into because of the box arts, because if you look at the box art, it's like, oh my goodness, amazing. But it is a hard game, and it's probably why I don't bring it to the table so often, because a lot of people are like, yeah, that's a hard game. It's, that's going to be my number 20.
Okay. All right. My number 20 is Treasure Hunter. This is a card drafting type game. You are all adventurers visiting different places like the jungle, the cold mountains, lava, volcanoes, and you're trying to get treasure. Some are worth positive points, some are worth negative. But it's basically like a card drafting, like a Magic draft, where you take a hand of cards, you take one, and then pass it to the left or right. Except this is kind of broken down a little simpler than that as far as what you're drafting. It takes a few rounds to kind of get the hang of, but my family loves the game. They picked it up pretty quick. The kids seem to be picked it up pretty quick. Sorry, I can't talk today.
Drink more Monster.
So
drink more Monster.
Yeah. So we play it a lot. So number 20, Treasure Hunter.
Okay. So for my number 20, I'm gonna go with Treasure Hunter as well. I played it with Mike, and it was super fun, just because so cooperative, and then it was competitive. Everybody's searching, say, there's a lot of strategy involved with which treasure you want to get. Yeah. So it's a fun card game, and since you mentioned everything about it already, no point in me repeating. So that's not my number 20.
So for my number 19, I'm going to be going with, it was a Kickstarter game. It was called Vikings, Raid, and Conquer. It's also a deck building game. A lot of my games are going to be deck building games. I do like them. It's an interesting concept because it does go off of the television show Vikings. It uses the first, second, and third season. So it's if you there are spoilers in the game. So if you've already watched the first 3 seasons, you can play the game.
Really?
Yes.
There's spoilers?
Yes. It was kind of funny because when we played it, I had not seen the 3rd season.
Well, I haven't seen the show.
I haven't seen the show at all.
Well, that's why it doesn't matter to you, but
okay.
It would
Continue. Sorry.
But it was kind of interesting that I had not seen the 3rd season. So as I'm playing the game, I was like, wait a minute, this hasn't happened yet. This hasn't happened yet. So does that mean so? There is kind of a spoiler for the whole game right there. But yeah, that's my number 19 is Vikings, Raid, and Conquer.
All right. My number 19 is Mysterium. This recently hit our table last weekend, as a matter of fact. One person is playing a ghost, and the rest of the players are playing psychics. And the ghosts are trying to send information to the psychics on what happened to try to solve what happened to the ghost. But since it can't speak, it only gives pictures as clues. And the art is similar to that of Dixit. It's just weird paintings, weird pictures, and you're trying to give clues to the players on basically the location of something that happened, what weapon, what person, so you send a card and it's like, did I give you this card because there's so much red and there's red on this card that's information? Or is there a balloon and your person's a pilot and they're both in the air? It's fun like that because some of the clues do not make sense at all, and some you just have to deal with what's in your hand. but it's a very fun game. We like to play it. Number 19, Mysterium.
For my number 19, I chose Run for Your Life Candyman. Pretty much, it is like Candyland, but brutal.
Sadistic.
Yes, I know. Because you're going through playing gingerbread men that are trying to get through this Candyland area, but as you go through, you can kill each other. So I think our best game we ever had was one person with a single head was able to finish at the very end because they got brutalized at that point.
I saw a game. Somebody did a game that had that and stitched gingerbread men
Yeah.
with Velcro arms, legs, and heads.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
every time they would play, they would pull it off. I'm
Yeah.
like, it looked really cool. I would love to have that.
Yeah, I think we were playing it with the actual picture of gingerbread man,
pictures.
and then just tear off the parts as you kill someone's
It's
pieces
brutal.
off.
It's
It's
brutal.
brutal, but it's fun when you get to the end. Basically, it's a different take on the original
Candy.
Candy. Yeah, but
It's amazing how many times people end up with just an arm and it's like, I won the game with just an arm.
so that's Run for Your Life Candyman for number 19.
So for me, number 18 is going to be Unspeakable Words. This was it's a kind of a word building game because you get letters through cards. You get passed out cards and you have to form words with those cards, and they have to be valid words. But you also have sanity, and if you do lose sanity, then you get to the point that any words make sense because you're insane, so it doesn't really matter. And I thought that was an amazing mechanic for this game, that you start off making words like cat, dog, house, but towards the end it's just Broderberg. It's like, that's my word. But that's not a word. Yes, it is. I'm insane. Deal with it. So I thought that was a great game. So number 18's Unspeakable Words.
All right. My number 18 is Mystery Express. I got to play this once at Gen Con, and right after I played it, immediately went and bought it. It's like Clue, but on steroids. You are on a train, and you get to go to different compartments of the train to do different actions. And you're still trying to solve who did it, what part of the train, and with what. But what makes it different is instead of one copy of each card, there are multiple copies. There are now 2 copies of each card. So if you get a person that gets revealed to you, you're like, is that the same card or is that a different card? Did I see that similar? Because also cards switch hands and switch around different players. So you're always trying to keep track of, wait a minute, is that the same card or a different card? Can I mark this off the list or do I need to find both of them? So it's definitely a challenge. It's very fun, and that's Mystery Express.
Yeah, sounds like it's fun.
Yeah. It takes a while. People have gotten frustrated for it.
Okay, for my number 18, I chose Survive. Survive is pretty much you are people on a desert island or an island that is about to explode. Your point is to get off the island safely, avoiding sharks, whales, other people,
Yeah.
because it's basically a competitive survival game where you try not to get drowned and then not get eaten up by sharks, but people like to kill each other. That's why it's called Survive. Yay, sharks. And that's my number 18.
So for my number 17, I went with Tesla versus Edison Duel. This is kind of, if you know about the game called Tesla versus Edison, it's like a big board game playing across the country. Duel is a 2-player version. It's a lot of fun. I was taught it at a convention, and the idea is that each person can play either, because it's not just Tesla or Ed and Edison. You can play multiple different people. But one player will be playing the AC version, one person plays DC, and you're trying to get control of the country with that. And what makes it fun is there's never really a defining moment that says, I'm the winner. Because in one round, I do everything I can, and all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to win. But then in your turn, you can do other stuff, and then all of a sudden I lose the lead, so it comes back to me, and it's played in 3 rounds. It's pretty quick to play, pretty quick to learn. It's a great game to play. You should go get it. So number 17, Tesla versus Edison Duel.
All right. My number 17 is a game that I have been playing almost every weekend with V and the kids, and that is House of Danger. Now, House of Danger is a choose-your-own adventure game. Basically come to life. You have a small little board, and you have a whole bunch of cards. And the cards you read will tell part of your story. And then in the back of the card, it'll ask you, hey, you heard a strange sound. Do you want to go investigate that strange sound, or do you want to continue to go to the house that you're trying to get to? If you want to investigate the sound, go to card number 30. If you want to go straight ahead to the house, go to card number 42. So you pick which one you want, and you go through that card, and you deal with the consequences. Some are good, some are bad.
Damn those monkeys.
Damn monkeys. Yes. And it's broken down into 5 chapters, so you can play a chapter, and if you do horrible, you can start over, or you can continue with whatever you find on to chapter 2, and then chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. I think we're on chapter 4 now. We're almost to the end. We're getting close. The story's getting better as we go through the chapters. It's getting a little bit more intense, like, okay, that makes sense. No, that makes sense. You could play this game by yourself, or you can play this with as many other people as you want, as long as all of y'all can decide on which choice that you want to decide on to go with and accept that as your answer. But yeah, my number 17, House of Danger.
For my number 17, I chose Cash and Gun. I think we've mentioned it before, but it's pretty much you are a bunch of bank robbers who just finished a heist, and now you're trying to distribute the loot. But being as you're all bad people, you don't know who wants what and how to distribute it fairly, because you don't. So,
Oh, you're bad guys.
yeah, you're bad guys. So you're pointing guns at each other. And then you're playing a game of chicken. See who wants to stay in, who wants to loot. It's a fun game. It's just more psychological. It's do you believe this guy will kill you or not?
Yeah, it's always nice when you look up and you see 4 other people pointing guns at you. They're like, yeah, I'm out.
So it's basically a giant game of chicken, really. But it's Cash and Guns, my number 17.
So for my number 16, I'm going to go with a Robo Rally. So Robo Rally, you are playing robots, but it's more of it's almost like if you've seen the Robot Wars, where people make machines and then they go around a course. Well, it's kind of like that, where you're a robot, but you can only do certain actions according to the cards that you play, and the cards will be go forward twice, go forward 3 times, turn left, turn right, and I think that's it.
You can go backwards.
Can you go backwards? Okay, you can go backwards.
Yeah, you're programming your movement.
Yeah, and so you program your movement out, but what happens is that everybody's going to be programming at the same time. So if your robot gets pushed forward, well, you're still going to be going through your programming. So now all of a sudden you're instead of going to where you want to go, all of a sudden now you're in the corner and you're like, okay, how do I get out of this corner? So it's a great game. I thought it was a lot of fun to play. So yeah, number 16, Robo Rally.
All right, my number 16 is Pandemic. We played different versions. We played the Cthulhu Pandemic and the actual Pandemic. It's a cooperative game where viruses are trying to basically take over the world, and you were playing different roles, and you were trying to keep those viruses in check and find the cure for them. And it's total cooperation. So you're all talking amongst each other saying, okay, you need to go through and get rid of these viruses. You need to try to find the cure for this. You need to go over here and keep this in check. So you're all trying to do this. And at the same time, the game is fighting back against you. So you either all win or you all lose. Very fun game. One of the very first cooperative games that I bought. It's one of the very first games I actually bought, even when we first started getting back into board games, because I heard so much about this game. And it's still in my collection. We still have a lot of fun playing it, and that is Pandemic.
Yeah, I don't think I ever wanted that game. That's
It
fights you
took
back
us a
more.
while.
It fights you back more than you fight it.
It took us a while to win our first one.
Okay, so for my number 16 is actually called Blitz. Blitz is like a first-person shooter before board game. So you are pretty much, you get spawned into this room, and then the first thing you have to do is grab some guns, grab some ammo. And your whole objective is to kill everybody else. So basically you're just, like first person shooter, you're going through a room, you see someone, you shoot them. You blast the whole room. You blast anybody in a couple rooms. So your goal is to kill as many people as you can. It is fast, it is furious, and you die a lot. But this is really fun. So if you ever want to play a first-person shooter on a board game, look for Blitz.
I guess that's why they call it Blitz, because it's
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah. There's a lot of overkills in it. So for my number 16, it's called Blitz.
Okay, all right. Those were our number 20 through our 16 games on the top 25 list. Next video, we will continue with 15 through 11. For this video, I am Michael.
I'm Bernie.
I'm Fee.
And we will catch you later.
Peace.